Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Good morning. So, we will continue with our exercises in text completion, which we have been doing. You may recall that recently we did 3 words, 3 blank completion, which is quite a challenging task, but there are higher order exams that do question you or do test you on exercises like those. So, there are items where you would be tested on, there are exams where you would be tested on items like that, where you have to fill in 3 blanks with 3 words, 3 set of words. However, today I am going to focus on double blanks. Okay. Most of these are double blank choices, and let us move on to the first exercise. Please look at the slide. The words heard by the party upon the staircase were the Frenchman's dash of horror and affright, dash with the fiendish jabberings of the brute. Before I give you the choices, let me explain. Fiendish is devilish, jabberings is meaningless noise, conversation is not a conversation that makes sense, senseless noise, and brute uncivilized, uncouth, cruel, brutish behavior. Brutish, we often newspapers often use the word brutal murder. I mean, murder is murder whether it is brutal or not, but it is used in the sense that extreme cruelty was inflicted on the victim. Yeah. So, brute is someone who is extremely violent and crude. So, choices are Frenchman's, defamations, hyperboles, exclamations. See, all these are speech related words, and then you have to connect them to horror and affright with the dash, fiendish jabberings of the brute. Hackneyed, excoriated, commingled. Difficult. Okay. Please take a moment, look at the slide. Okay. So, first choice is exclamation. Remember, a defamation, and I am giving you explanation for all the choices. A defamation can be a false accusation of an offense or an abusive attack on a person's character. Hyperbole is exaggeration, hyperbolic speech that is given to lot of exaggeration. Hyperbole is very common among politicians. They make exaggerated claims and promises. So, hyperbole. Exclamation is the right answer, is an abrupt, excited utterance. So, Frenchman's utterance, exclamation. It could also mean a loud complaint or protest. Remember, the sound of horror and affright, and I am trying to give you the contextual meaning here, cannot be defamation. Defamation means to put someone down. Gentleman here is genuinely upset, the French gentleman. Presence of the brute in the passage also reduces the chances for hyperbole, excessive praise or excessive promises. So, exclamation is the best option, is the best fit. Choice 2 is commingled. As I already agreed, it is a difficult choice. Something is hackneyed if it is over familiar, a hackneyed plot. All these family dramas, TV soaps have hackneyed plots, right? Hackneyed narrative. So, these are overused, over familiar. Excoriate is to express a strong disapproval of, and commingle, as the word indicates, is to mix or blend. The brute sound could not have been hackneyed, right? It has to be mixed or blended. Between excoriated and commingle, commingle is a better option. for the people downstairs, and that is the sentence. The sound or sounds should have been commingled than anything else. So, it is not a disapproval, it is not an over familiar sound, it is a sound that was commingled with the jabberings of the brute. Now, second exercise, exercise 2. Either he dodged, however, or my aim was inaccurate, for all I accomplished was the dash of the crystal which protected the dial of the clock upon the mantelpiece. Dissipation, demolition, demotion, demonstration, dilatation. The best choice is demolition. Dissipation could either mean breaking up and scattering by dispersion, or mean the dissolute indulgence in sensual pleasure. Demolition is an event that completely destroys something. Demolition is the antonym of, demotion is the antonym of promotion. Remember, demolition is the antonym of construction. The Demolition Man is a Sylvester Stallone movie. Demotion is the antonym of promotion. You get promoted or demoted. It can also be defined as the act of lowering of rank or position. Demonstration could mean a visual presentation showing how something works. Dilatation means the state of being stretched beyond normal dimensions. We often say doctors, ophthalmologists, they dilate your eyes before putting you through some eyesight checkup. You might have seen that, those of you go for your regular eyesight checkup, and I do suggest as students all of us should do that. So, doctors put some drops in our eyes and which dilate our pupil. So, that is the idea. It means stretching beyond normal dimensions. Remember, crystal is unlikely to be demoted or demonstrated or dilated. So, again we look at dissipation and demolition. Now, demolition involves destruction, dissipation involves dispersion. So, crystal, it cannot be dispersed, it has to be demolished, broken completely. So, demolition is the best choice. Let us move on to the next exercise. The book also vividly captures a present tense sense of the country's social anxiety as hype over the country's much flouted, scouted, touted, looted and lowered economic opportunities has toppled over into a general desperation, a fear of missing out. The best choice is touted. To flout is to treat with contemptuous disregard. Remember, to scout is to explore, to tout is to advertise in, we often say, touting the merits of the program, to advertise in strongly positive terms. Loot is to steal goods, most of us are familiar with this term. To lower is to set lower. Something that toppled over to desperation must not have been in desperation before the set toppling over. So, the best answer is tout. We have to strike out flout, clout, loot and lower, okay, and the best option is to tout. Next exercise, responses to such thought experiments are meant to expose the dash to which we think moral judgment should be made on grounds of duty and principle, or on dash calculations about whether actions increase or decrease well-being. So, two sets: extent, extend, extent, all similar sounding, okay? And second, utilitarian, authoritarian, inimitable. Extent is the best answer, E-X-T-E-N-T. Remember, we are looking for a noun here. Extent means easily, still inexistent. I will give you the word here. It is a very good word, extent. The course is extent, is still inexistent. Antonym. Extend, as we know, means stretch over time, space or scope. So, you have extended, overextended your welcome. you have extended the deadline submission. Deadline submission deadline has been extended. It could also mean provide, and extend, you know, extend means is provide, like I extended a warm welcome to the guests. So, to provide. Extent is the point or degree to which something extends. So, this is our answer. Extent is an adjective, so that option is out of the picture. Remember, so we are looking for a noun, not an adjective. Remember here that choosing between extend and extent might be difficult unless we notice that extend is a verb and extent is a noun. So, therefore, I keep asking you to refer to your dictionaries and keep looking at the word categories also. Unless and until you feel that you are extremely good in English, you do need to look up dictionaries now and then. I know that online dictionaries are very good, but sometimes they fail to give you all the possible classifications and categories of a word. Invest in a good dictionary, or even two. I would go that far or so far as asking you to invest in two very good recent dictionaries and see, and if you are consistent and regular in looking them up, you will find a marked improvement in your own vocabulary. I would again stress that this is an online course, we can only do this much, but much of the learning will happen if you are committed to doing a lot of self learning. Self learning is often the best form of learning, and it can also, it should go with your classroom teaching, with your online learning, but always be a self learner, always learn to always aspire to learn something new every day, all good things of life, and aspire to learn something good every day. And you learn a couple of words every day, and it will take you a long way. So, moving on to the next choice is the next blank is utilitarian. Now, something is utilitarian if it has a useful function. If someone is authoritarian, it comes from the word authority. So, it means that the person expects unquestioning obedience, and if something is inimitable, then it is matchless, inimitable. Many people would say that XYZ is an inimitable music composer, inimitable dancer, matchless, so good that cannot be matched. Of course, it's again it's an exaggeration, but this is a word that is very popular. Now, the clue in our previous one is in the last part of the passage, whether or not. It tells us that the only use for the experiments are done for the specific purpose. The word that is closest to that context is utilitarian. Therefore, our best choice is utilitarian. Next set, please look at the next exercise. This is an attractive view, but it is factious, treble, tenable, rarefied, transient only if it allows for a clear overall limitation to either the input or the output. The best option is answer C, that is tenable. Factious means dissenting, faction, remember factions in the political party. So, dissent. Treble means denoting a high range. If something is tenable, it is based on sound reasoning or evidence, and if something is of high moral or intellectual value, we call it rarefied. You know, the Booker Prize winner or Pulitzer Prize winner authors, they live in the rarefied zones. Transient lasts a very short time. The passage is very simple. Remember, we are looking at what would be better than an attractive view. So, tenable. Remember, dissenting and transient are not the choices here. Compared to treble, rarefied and tenable sound better. Now, between rarefied and tenable, the rest of the passage indicates evidence rather than abstract value. Tenable is the best choice. Please go through the word meanings of every option that is given here, and perhaps you will understand clear. As I have been telling you that it is good that you are watching these videos, that means you are motivated enough, but if you want more to gain from these lectures, please keep your dictionaries open. Kindly do not depend 200% on these lectures. You have to look up dictionaries, okay, and look at every possible word. Only then you are going to gain or add to your existing resources. Let us look at the next exercise. These latter grew in pots which were carefully buried in the soil so as to give the plants the appearance of being indigent, indigenous, indignant, intent, indent. Look up the word meanings of each and every choice. Take some moments. They all sound so similar. Look at the word categories. Which one is a noun? Which one is an adjective? Is there a verb here? And when you want to fill in the blank with the word which is just preceded by being, an auxiliary, what should it be? Best answer is indigenous. When someone is indigent, if this is poor enough to need help from others. Something is indigenous means if that it originates from where it is found. You often say indigenous craft, rooted in the area, local area. Indignant means angered at something unjust or wrong. Intent means marked by complete attention to something. I looked at him intently. I wanted to find the meaning of something and looked intently for it, very sharply, focused way, with lot of attention. Indent makes a dent. It makes a depression into, right, like a dent. So, the best answer is indigenous, being indigenous. So, pots that are buried cannot be poor or angry or dented. Okay? So, they all sound similar, but the best answer is indigenous. Now, let us look at the next set. He soon, however, recovered his composure and an expression of determined malignancy settled upon his countenance, hubris, complacence, as he gave cursory, peremptory, minatory orders that a certain chamber should be immediately locked up and the key placed in his own possession. So, I think we have earlier done what is complacence. Someone who complies easily, gives in easily, right. Hubris is, what is hubris? A sort of pride, and countenance is face. So, the best answer for you is countenance, malignancy set on his countenance. Remember, countenance means the appearance conveyed by a person's face. Hubris is pride, overbearing pride or presumption, and you already know complacence means a disposition or tendency to yield to the will of others. The word we are looking for here is something that can betray composure and exhibit expressions. And the second choice, peremptory. Cursory means not thorough. I gave a cursory glance to something, not intently, just in the passing. Peremptory means offensively self-assured or given to exercising usually unwarranted power. Minatory means threatening or foreshadowing evil or tragic developments. Orders can be cursory, minatory or peremptory, but the way it is the sentence is constructed. We have to look for clues. The orders could be cursory, but the clue is malignancy and his own. So, both of these imply that peremptory is the best choice. Look at the next set. Distinctly dash in its design, the juvenile court aimed to nurture young offenders towards personal responsibility. In extending to adolescents the protections of childhood, the court supervised a wide variety of youthful misbehaviors, while dash the delayed maturity of adolescence into the social fabric. Dogmatic, paternalistic, eclectic, edifying, propitiating, inscribing. I will go through the whole set again for you. Distinctly dogmatic, paternalistic or eclectic in its design, the juvenile code aimed to nurture young offenders towards personal responsibility. Look at the tone, is it a negative or a positive sentence? In extending to adolescents the protections of childhood, the court supervised a wide variety of youthful misbehaviors while edifying, propitiating, inscribing the delayed maturity of adolescence into the social fabric. The best answer is paternalistic for the first choice. Dogmatic means characterized by assertion of unproved or unprovable principles. Paternalistic means benevolent, but sometimes intrusive, interfering. Eclectic means selecting what seems best of various styles or ideas. There is no question of dogmatic or eclectic here. The clue here is nurturing, and nurture will not go with dogmatic or eclectic, it will go with paternalistic. So, paternalistic, which can be benevolent, interfering, intrusive. Yeah? So, that is the tone of the passage. Therefore, I asked you to look at the tone. It is not a negative word, it is done in a positive way. Court's behavior or act is supposedly positive here. And the second choice is inscribing. To edify means to make understand, add to something. To propitiate is to please, make peace with something, and to inscribe means to write, print or engrave as a lasting record. So, into the social fabric is the clue here. Rather than edifying into the fabric or propitiating into the fabric, you could print, engrave into the fabric. The best match is therefore inscribing. Let us look at the next set or exercise. I was loath, clod to leave the concert before my best friend finished her recital. Now, you might have guessed that there are words, and these are words which are meant to confuse you, and you will definitely face such kinds of exercises there in your actual real exam. We are always talking about, place yourself in the real time exam. Even when you are watching these videos, listening to your instructor, always think what you are going to do in the real time exam. You prepare yourself. Now, loathe, L-O-A-T-H-E, is a verb that means repugnant. She loathes potatoes. She loathes soft drinks. But L-O-A-T-H, and that is the option B, loathe, that is the correct option, is an adjective that means reluctant. So, L-O-A-T-H, loathe, is the right answer here. Reluctant. This is a verb. To detest something, loathe, with an E. So, the answer here is L-O-A-T-H, reluctant. She was loath to cultivate something in her garden, reluctant to cultivate let us say lemons in her garden or kitchen garden. And lot of books. Okay, I visited lots of places, so many, multiple, large amount. And then you also have lot, in the sense that parking lot, car lot. So, be careful about all these subtle distinctions. Lout, on the other hand, is a noun that means an awkward, stupid person, while clod is just another, it is a synonym for lout. Keeping aside loath and loath, lout or clod would fit in, but the lack of article before the last word, it eliminates the chances to be the best choice. Lack of article. So, remember all these things. The difference between loath and loath is other than pronunciation is very, it is a subtle. So, loath and loath, as mentioned earlier, one is a verb and another is adjective. Our answer is the adjective loath. Let us look at the next set, two choices, I mean it is a double blank question. The boy does not loiter at all, but he is a very long time in getting back from his dash. Errant, aren't, errant. For no lady of the precise name of Mrs. Trotter is to be discovered. He consoles himself, however, that he has not been such a fool as to leave the goods without the money, and re-entering his shop with a self-satisfied air, feels sensibly hurt and indignant, indulgent, indulgent when his master asks him what has become of the change. The best answer is the boy was away on an errand, E-R-R-A-N-D. Errand is a short trip, an errand boy. Arrant, A-R-R-A-N-T, means without qualification, but is used in a negative way, and errant means to drift. From the passage it is clear that the boy was out doing something. Clues including not loiter, re-enter, etc. Errand matches perfectly. Therefore, we have errand as our answer. And second choice is indignant, sensibly indignant. Indignant means outraged, indigent means destitute. We have seen it, I think, in one of our earlier exercises. Indulgent means lenient. You overindulge your people, your staff. It is an overindulged group. They are pampered. The boy was hurt upon being questioned, so indignant. That is what the passage means. He might not become poor or not lenient, but the chances are that he is outraged, angry, offended. Indignant means severely offended. Let us look at the next set. My immediate purpose is to place before the world plainly dash and without comment a series of mere household events, scantily, sufficiently, succinctly, caustically, cogently. So, plainly, comma, scantily, sufficiently, succinctly, caustically, cogently. Best answer is succinctly. So, plainly, clearly, succinctly, in brief. These options are familiar to us, right? We have done some such words in our previous classes also. Scantily means sparsely. Sufficient is the quantity that can fulfill a need or requirement, but without being abundant. Succinctly means to the point. Caustic means harsh or corrosive in tone. Cogent means powerfully persuasive. Plainly and without comment is a clue here. The word we are looking is an adjective, and it should complement this particular phrase. Cogently, scantily, caustically cannot be those words. Before sufficiently and succinctly, the latter is the better option, as it sounds more similar to plainly than sufficiently does. Let us look at the next set. In these, his competition, his resistance, and especially his impertinent and badgered, dogged, ferreted interference with my purposes were not more pointed than private. He appeared to be destitute alike of the ambition which urged and of the passionate energy of mind which enabled me to excel. In his rivalry, he might have been supposed, relegated, actuated, obviated solely by a whimsical desire to thwart, astonish or mortify myself. Answer 1 is dogged. To badger is to pester repeatedly, to dog is to pursue relentlessly, to ferret is to search through persistent investigation. Remember, for interference the passage has already provided us with an adjective. We are looking for the second adjective. It should not contradict the first adjective. It is better interfere doggedly than to badger or to ferret while creating the correct or most appropriate sentence. And the second choice is actuated. Relegate means to refer to another person for decision or judgment, to relegate. Actuate means put in motion or move to act. Obviate is to get rid of. So, actuate is the right answer. You should understand that the passage talks about a rivalry which had already caused dogged interference. So, it cannot be obviated, it cannot be relegated, it has to be actuated. Let us look at the next set of exercise. I cannot pretend to recount all that he told me, but I gleaned from, what is gleaned? Gathered. From what he said that he was the genius who presided over the dash of mankind and whose business it was to bring about the odd accidents which are continually astonishing the skeptic. Once or twice upon my venturing to express my total incredulity, conviviality, prodigality in respect to his pretensions, he grew very angry indeed. So that at length I considered it the wiser policy to say nothing at all and let him have his own way. Look at the first choices, to who presided over the peccadilloes, turpitudes, contretemps of mankind. The best choice here in first section, contretemps. Peccadillo is a petty misdeed, you know, an urchin throwing stones or pebbles or stealing something very small object, we are peccadillos. Turpitude is a corrupt or depraved or degenerated act. Moral turpitude is something that is very commonly used. Contretemps means an awkward clash. Odd accidents is what gives away the answer for this particular blank. A contretemps is a thing that would be easily counted as an odd accident, much easier than a peccadillo. A turpitude has much less chances of being an odd accident compared to the other two, and with most chances of being an odd accident, contretemps becomes the best choice. For set 2, incredulity means doubt about the truth of something. Conviviality means a jovial nature or a merry festivity. You are in a very convivial mood today, right? I will approach you when circumstances are more convivial. Prodigality means excessive spending or given to mores. You remember we did mores. So, prodigal, we are told something, the prodigal son, the story, the Bible tells you the story of the prodigal son. Son who was, the boy who was very fond of wasting. So, prodigal son. Prodigality is excessive spending. Pretensions require a logical response which cause the pretender to get angry in the passage, remember. So, prodigality does not come in the picture as nothing related to spending was mentioned in the whole passage. More logical response to pretensions is skepticism rather than festivity. Therefore, we choose incredulity. Please go through all the exercises and all the words carefully. Try to make words or sentences of your own using these words and learn or derive more from these lectures. Thank you very much. We will meet soon.